I got into college, I kind of formed more into the hip hop realm, and I went by the rap name AJ Cooper. But now, once I joined the professional workforce, I decided, I need to kind of transition my audience, transition my niche, and I became the rapping CPA, aka Petty Cash.
Woohoo! Petty cash. So how does that work in the rap world? I know that if you were like a DJ, it'd be DJ Petty Cash, but you're not a DJ. So how does that work for rappers?
So in rapping, you just kind of you pick what your rap name, what your stage name is going to be. So P Cash. I always said, once my rap career really takes off and I can get a boat, name of the boat's going to be P Cash. It's a $S. That's the key. That's the key.
Of course, you gotta have the $.
Gotta have the $. I'm like Kesha. And I actually got a whole squad of people who are part of it. And so different members obviously can have different acronyms and different names. And so the name of our crew, it's Petty Cash and the Balance Sheet Boys.
That's fantastic.
And I could take you a list through some of my Balance Sheet Boys. We got my main man from the Public Accounting Anthem. You've probably seen the music video for that. That's DJ Accruals. We got Mikey Merger, we got Joey Assets, Richie Rich, B
Nice.
Tie Out, and my personal favorite, one of my boys very close to me, Two Screens.
Nice.
Oh wow.
Yeah, as I went to national trainings and conferences and meetings, just more people heard about the Balance Sheet Boys and wanted to get in on it, and we've been growing, and we have a nice little accounting squad.
Nice.
Wow.
You mostly came out of the accounting circuit as a rapper. Have you been in the rap circuit much as an accountant?
I think I'm the only one. So it's not hard to be the best.
but do you compete in the rap circuit and do your accounting like raps with them?
So they're more for support. They're like my hype men.
All right.
They throw me up on a throne and then march me around, and we run the street, Wall Street, that is.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, because
Where
I am
are
from
you, Drew?
New York. Yeah, I am from New York, so I live right in the outskirts. I'm about a half an hour from New York City, so I spend my time there, spend it in Queens, Brooklyn, and then a lot of time on Long Island. I try and get out east as much as possible and kind of take the rap game to the beach if I can. But I like being over here on the coast and in New York.
Very cool.
Yeah, you guys are all the way on the West Coast. It's a whole other ball.
Yeah, we're on opposite sides of the country.
Yeah, I was doing the conversion every time. I'm like, what time does this thing start? And I'm like, wait, what's the differential in time? Are they still using the daylight savings? Like, what?
Yep.
Absolutely. Wow. So is there any way you could teach me to rap?
So I think one of the things is, like, I grew up on poetry, so I'm sure when you were in elementary school, Penny, you probably learned a little bit of poetry and some rhyme schemes and whatnot. As a drummer, the key is having the right flow and staying on beat when you're rapping. And so you just kind of want it to be consistent, no awkward pauses, but you could stop if you need to. And so I like to do maybe one verse where you do 4 lines right down, and the last word of each verse rhymes with the one before. And then you go to the next verse and you have 4 lines and it each ends with a rhyme. That's the easiest way to do it. I could do one right now, maybe about your pie shop, right? I think that'd be good.
Yeah.
Please do.
Yeah, maybe you can use it as like a jingle or something.
I've been looking for a new jingle. I think a rap would go really well with my new marketing scheme.
Are you making this up on the fly?
So yeah, just let me freestyle a little bit. I'm here to tell you about the tastiest pies. This is the truth you cannot deny. Try to ask me, I can tell you why. I'll tell you penny pies, I'll eat until I die.
That's amazing!
Oh, that's so cool. Do you do this for your clients?
So sometimes clients will ask, they're like, oh, I heard, I just want to let you know my books are going to be clean like a bookstore. And then I start nodding my head. I said, you saw the video, right? Clean as a bookstore is one of my lines. And so, a lot of times they want something. I made a rap for my college when I was back in college to help raise money. It's called Philanthropy Day, the rap. And, wherever I go, they're always like, oh, could you lay down a beat, drop a freestyle? I was in the IT department. They're like, we need like an information security systems rap, make it up on the spot. And so I'm like, all right, let's go.
Information security systems rap.
On the spot, just talking about computers and viruses.
Then what you know, right?
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I don't know if I could do that. You were saying no awkward pauses. I'm kind of the queen of awkward pauses.
Yeah. Just pick a really slow beat so it gives you lots of time to think. Yeah. I think being a multi-potentialite for me is one of the things that helps with that, because I'm able to pull from a lot of different sources. So I have a lot of analogies that I can make, and I can incorporate all the knowledge that I've learned over the course of my life and put it into a rap song. So if information security, sure, I can come up with something real quick about that. I know enough about it.
Yeah. Multi-potentialite. Say more about that.
Yeah, so the interesting thing is 3.5 years ago, Emily Warwick, I think, gave a TED talk about multi-potentialites, and I'm sitting there thinking, like, that's me. I'm the one who, jack of all trades, master of none. And so I was like looking up polymath and stuff, and of course I ended up on this website. I'm like, damn, these freaking accountants took that name. I was going to buy that domain name. And but I think it's like really cool. I think being a multi-potentialite is an underrated thing, because you have a lot of people who they focus on one thing, and this big movement for specialization. Oh, I just do taxes. Oh, I just do this type of law. I only fix toilet bowls and not sinks. It's become so specialized, but I think having a diverse skill set, it makes you a more valuable player in the workforce, and it lets you be an integrating force in the workforce.
Absolutely right. It's interesting. So a lot of people don't actually know that polymath, our business name, means multi-potentialite. It's a person of varied learning, many skills. It's a Renaissance person. Right. They see, oh, it's an accounting firm, polymath. That means lots of math, right?
Yeah. That's one of those things that I get. So I started my career out as an auditor, and so as soon as I tell people, like, oh, I'm an accountant, they're like, oh, great, like you could do my taxes, and I'm like, oh my gosh, no, I'm not a tax accountant, I'm an auditor, and they're like, oh, you're an auditor? Oh, exactly, Penny. I know you hate when the auditors come in. They're like, it says here you sold this many pies. Interesting.
Well, I'm not worried about it because I have Ingrid and Vanessa as my bookkeepers. They take care of me.
Okay, you're in good hands then.
That's right.
Which do you get more often at parties, Drew? Because I know at parties people come up to me and be like asking me tax questions, even though I'm not a tax accountant.
Yeah.
I do bookkeeping and management accounting, business advisory services, but not tax here at Polymath.
Right.
Do you get more tax questions or rapping conversations at parties?
It depends on what part of the night.
How many drinks people have had?
Yeah, I would say at the beginning of the night, everybody's like, oh, like I was thinking of starting this business. Like, do you think you could help me do this? And I'm like, they're like, well, what's the best tax setup? And I'm like, I know enough to get them by and kind of sound impressive to them. And I still know what I'm talking about, but a few drinks deeper and people start being like, yo, like throw on a beat, like let's hear you rap. I want to hear you perform. And next thing you know, I find a way to perform at every single party I'm at. Somehow I end up with the microphone.
Oh, of course. Oh.
Yeah.
So, these days we hear a lot about how important it is to take care of a person's like individual needs, personal interests outside of work, right?
Yep.
A whole well-rounded life experience. And it seems like you really integrated that well. You have a passion for rapping, and of course you're still maintaining your business as a CPA. Yep. And blending it well. So how much time do you actually spend on rapping versus CPA during the week?
So I kind of treat it as like a day and night type of thing. There's your 9 to 5, and then your 5 to 9.
Once again, after you've had a few drinks, right?
Oh, of course. We're here in New York, so there's always a spot to be. I'm Irish. Yeah, I think this was one of the things I touched upon. I was featured in the Green Apple podcast with John Garrett, who's a hilarious corporate comedian.
Love John Garrett.
Yeah, he's great, and he kind of mentored me a little bit. I gave him some phone calls to kind of just learn about the entertainment industry and a little bit about that. And interesting background briefly on me is that the way I ended up becoming this multi-potentialite of a left side and right side of the brain user that I am today. My mom's side of the family, lawyers, doctors, business owners. So they're all left side logic brain thinkers. And then on my dad's side of the family, I go from wearing a suit to wearing a bathing suit to the other. They're all, frisbee throwing people. You have teachers, you have gymnasts, and then my grandfather played in the Dorsey Brothers, and my grandfather had his own band back in the 60s and 70s. And so I kind of became the culmination of these two sides, and a little bit of spice, a little bit of everything nice, and mix it all together, and Powerpuff Girls, out comes Petty Cash.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I ended up like this, and I think it's so important to bring who you are into the workplace, because otherwise you're just working with a bunch of squares. And I hate that whole connotation that an accountant's boring or they don't have a personality.
Yeah.
It's tough, because that's the natural assumption and stereotype that everybody gives it. But I think more companies are moving towards this, because they're starting to understand that it is important. They value being able to be who they are all day, not just for part of the day. You shouldn't have to turn off who you are because you're at work. You should be able to work while being yourself, especially when you spend most of your time doing that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
so true.
Well, and I've found, since we started doing the Ask a Bookkeeper show and bringing in some more of our creative passions and things like that, that our clients are much more attracted to that. It starts more conversations. We had a potential client ended up calling us, and she wasn't a fit for our niche in our business, but as she was talking to us, she found us through the Ask a Bookkeeper show, and she's like, I feel like Penny sometimes. I never get to close my eyes.
Yeah, Penny, you should probably take a nap or something.
Right? I close my eyes when no one's watching.
Good. Yeah, don't let them know. Don't let them know what you're up to.
So,
that's true.
Oh, I have one other question. What about the balance sheet boys? How did you meet them?
Some of them I met, most of them through actually my first accounting firm that I worked at, and they were from offices from Minnesota to Florida to California to New York and New Jersey, and just from hanging out and realizing that we shared this sort of dream and passion that there's more to life than just accounting, which some people might. But there is other things in life other than just accounting, such as rapping, acting, and whatnot, and stuff like that. And so we bonded over the fact that we had this mutual passion for other things.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's interesting. So, little known fact, I'm actually in an Irish band. I play the boron, which is an Irish drum, and I sing. And my husband.
Beautiful singing voice.
Aw, thanks, Penny. My husband plays the guitar and the fiddle, and he sings also. And we've got a great little band.
Cool.
And when I go to conferences, sometimes colleagues will be like, Ingrid, bring your drum, let's jam. And it is so much fun to have an impromptu music jam at an accounting conference.
Oh, yeah. That's fun. I mean, there's a couple conferences. So one of the funny things is, like, every single time that I have gone to a company event, I somehow, like I said, end up being, somebody goes to the DJ or whoever's like hosting the event. They're like, we want to hear the public accounting anthem. Like, get Petty Cash up here. Like, will you perform? I'm like, will I perform? I was like, a dog can go outside to the bathroom and I'll perform. Like, you don't have to beg me, So and I love it, and it's cool, and I enjoy standing out in the same way that going to an accounting conference like that, it makes you stand out, and my goal is anytime I walk into a room, when everybody leaves, like, they're gonna remember Petty Cash, they're gonna remember me.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that experience.
Okay.
Yep. Penny also really enjoys the accounting conferences.
Oh yeah.
I often ride around in a backpack, but then I talk to people, and there's all the video shoots and photos. And some of the best people.
Yeah. You should do a video where you start pieing people in the face and say, you just got penny pied.
That's a great idea.
So long as we're not actually pieing Penny, because she'd be a lot harder to clean up.
That's true.
So you said we don't have to beg. Can we ask you to lay something down for us? Can we back you up? Is there something we can do to help?
I mean, I don't know. So sometimes I'll have somebody who's a friend. They'll go ahead and they'll lay down a beat or something.
Penny, can
I
you
have
beatbox? I don't know if
I
you can do that without lips.
I can
oh yeah, nice, Penny. Yeah. Oh yeah. First things first, start out with your fingies. Hit it out the ballpark like you won a ringy. Feeling like the Chicago Cubs winning. I'ma do my wave. That's my thingy. Do the wave, wave, wave. Do the wave, wave, wave. So the wave is gonna be it's gonna be one of those songs that's WAIVE because it's a little auditor's wave, you know. Do the wave.
I love it.
Yeah.
Nice. That was awesome.
That was amazing.
No problem.
Well, thanks so much.
Yeah.
Yay.
You know,
Well,
and I think what's pretty cool is, and this just came to me right now as you were mentioning about being just having a jam session the other day. I went over to my friends, and we don't have a drum set in my house anymore, and I really want to get an electric one so I can get back into that sort of jamming type of thing. But he has one, and he plays the guitar, and so we just started jamming out, and we're just singing and having a good time, and it was one of those like great feelings. And I think what's really cool, and I got into this now, and my goal moving forward is to maybe even be able to take something like an Irish folk band music and lay down a rap on top of it. And you take these different music styles and you find a way to incorporate them, like whether it's a pop song or a country song, and you integrate it together, and it makes a really cool sound. And I think that's how music really evolves. It's that integration, and it's so applicable to regular life too, with just pulling in all your different skill sets and combining it to create a role or a position that integrates. Same thing with music. It's really everywhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Who was that band when I was in high school? I'm dating myself here. Was it Chumbawamba that did the I fall down and I get back up again, and it's got the vocal chorus going on. So it's kind of mingling the different styles a little bit.
Yeah.
We could totally put something together at a conference. Are you going to Scaling New Heights in June?
I have no idea what I'm going to for the year. I'll have to check the calendar when there's a bunch of things that they have lined up. I'm going to be speaking at the New York Accounting and Finance Conference, so I'm sure somebody there is going to ask, "Oh, can you do some sort of rap about blah, or something?" At that one, I'm actually talking about millennials in the workforce, and I kind of am a generational expert in that sort of sense of helping integrate. I've written numerous publications about how to really get at the millennial mindset and to kind of disprove there are the lazy millennials who just like, oh, I want change type of thing. But then there's the other ones who are you're going out and actually trying to make that change happen and stuff like that.
Well, there's lazy people in every generation.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
It's just people are people. And the important is finding the people who are the right fit for your team, whatever that means. Yeah.
And then learning how to utilize them, because you do need those people who are very specialized and can focus, but you need the multi-potentialites, the polymaths, to be integrating features and to communicate one thing to another. So a lot of the times the wrapping CPA sort of business, the cool thing is I work with a lot of media companies who don't understand the business aspect. So one of my clients, he's like, I don't speak business, but I have a lot of businesses looking to use me for graphic design services. So I'm sort of that integrating piece, because I know how to talk to him as an artist, and I know how to talk to them as a business, and I kind of am able to connect the two and be a translator.
Very cool. I like that a lot, the translator. Yeah, we often tell our clients that we provide accountant translation services. If their tax preparer, if their CPA is asking them for something that's way over their head, then we'll simplify it. And if need be, we'll bust up the puppets. It's all good.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
We like making these ideas more approachable. I mean, that's kind of the idea behind it, is making it so that people don't have to be afraid of the things that they don't understand. Everybody had to learn everything for the first time at some point. And we want to make those ideas more approachable, more digestible, more fun.
Yeah.
It's like creating for small business what Bill Nye does for science.
Yeah.
And that's a lot like what you're doing with the wrapping also. You're putting a new spin on it. Yeah,
exactly. There's one guy who he's like the doctor. He does medical raps and songs and stuff like that. And I saw that and I was like, oh wow, that's like a great idea. Like I'm going to be that for the CPA. Then there's the singing dentist guy, and I saw that and I was like, oh, that's really cool. And so So I think I have a neat little niche, and I think as the culture becomes a more integral part of how businesses are, this type of sort of translating service is increasingly useful, and it's going to be more common, I think, to see people being able to be themselves, and you can get to know people on a more people-to-people basis instead of coworker-to-coworker basis.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Interpersonal relationships, that's key.
Yeah.
Well, and following our individual passions, dropping that professional veneer that
Yeah.
keeps us separated from each other, and really knowing each other as people rather than as that machine that does your tax return for us. Especially as artificial intelligence is doing more and more to streamline and automate a lot of the processes that accountants have traditionally done.
Yeah.
It's much more important now than ever that accounting professionals step forward and connect with our clients as human beings and offer advisory services.
Yeah. That personal relationship is, that human element is something that it can't be undervalued. It's just something that's so important as you build those sort of relationships and whatnot.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, it is 20 past. I actually missed the recording of the very, very beginning of this. So people on Facebook caught it, but we might have missed it on the Zoom recording that's going to go on YouTube. So for anybody who missed the very, very beginning and want to make sure you have all the details, this is Drew Carrick, the rapping CPA here on the Ask the Bookkeeper Show.
Petty Cash.
So much for joining us today. Yes, Petty Cash.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Cash. And Drew, if people want to find you or follow you on YouTube, where can they go to check you and your awesome rapping self out?
So part of my whole mental potential light thing is I had this identity crisis. But fortunately on YouTube, you can find everything at youtube.com/character, which is just my last name with a TOR at the end, since I have many characters that I play. It's CARRICKTOR, character, Drew Carrick. You just type in my name on Google. I'm sure you'll have plenty to feed on, but make sure you don't have any work to do, because you can procrastinate going through all the videos.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then the rappingcpa.com is my website. So
great. Well, thanks again so much for joining us today. This was tons and tons of fun, and we look forward to seeing you online. And I'm so glad that you're part of the Ask a Bookkeeper group, because my guess is that you might end up having some people tagging you in comments with follow-up questions and such.
Yeah, for sure. That's great. And I'm glad to be here. And ask away.
Great. Any chance you could close us out with the penny pie rap again?
Yeah, I could close you out with that.
Yeah.
All right. Shout out to Polymath. Shout out to Ask a Bookkeeper. Shout out to all you CPAs out there. I'm here to tell you about the tastiest pies. This is the truth. You cannot deny. Try to ask me. I can tell you why. I'll eat pennies pies until the day I die.
Woo!
Petty Cash. Stay footed. Stay footed.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Drew.
Bye.
Have a great Friday.
Bye. You too.